back on the AM show. We focus now on the white gold. Some would say it is lithium, others would say it is salt. Ada, the Songor area to be specific, has been known for producing salt for decades. But were we using it in its commercial capacity? In recent times, Electrochem has headed there and many things have changed. But just how much has changed and why all the tussles from time to time between those who live in the area, those who have mined in the area for decades, and Electrochem. We get the brief today from Nene Agude Obitre III. He is the Adan State Mankralo. Also joining the conversation, Nana Adiki Manyayo Adi I, Queen Royal Edibiawe Adan Traditional Area. Both of them join us this morning for a conversation. Nene, Nana.
Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for joining the conversation. Now, I guess it's only fitting to start off from where the history of the lagoon and what it was like before, in recent years, Electrochem came and took it over. Just walk us through what has the lagoon been like and what is it like now?
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. I would like to use this opportunity to say good morning to my Paramount Chief, Jiche Abraham Kabu Akwakudited, the Paramount Chief of Adan, and all the good people of Adan traditional area. Okay, so the Adan Songor Lagoon is what our ancestors or our forefathers left for the people of Adan. It has been a communal source of livelihood for, let's say, over 400 years. But in those days, it used to be something we have access to in every 7 years. So in every 7 years, the Paramount Chief will beat a gong. He will order the Libiono, that is the priest, to beat the gong. And then all Adans, both home and abroad, will come and then mine from the lagoon. And then whatever you are able to get, it becomes your portion. Some has used it to pay their school fees, others to cater for their families. So that was it before so it was under the traditional leadership. It was owned and managed by the traditional authorities then. Okay, so it got to a time and then there were different regimes. That is, government started coming in, and then it was given to Apenten. So in, I think 40 years, the vacuum salt Apenten led the vacuum salt, and then they had the concession. So they started the operation on a commercial scale.
Right.
Okay, so when they started, within some few years, there were challenges. We have a vacuum, and then we have the Star Chemical. So there were challenges between the companies and then the indigenes of Adan.
What sort of challenges?
It was agitations as to what is currently happening. But in those days, we learned that the investor was not given access to the people to mine. And one thing that was also the challenge was the people of Adan actually thought you can only get salt in every 7 years. But when the investor took over, they were able to engineer the place, and then they were mining salt frequently, let's say 3 or 4 times in a year. So I think the people realized, no, why should we leave this plenty thing for an outsider, in quotes? So they started fighting, and then a whole lot of issues came, and then we lost a life of a pregnant woman called Maggie. Yeah. So when that incident occurred, then I think the president came in, then former President J.J. Rawlings, he came in and then halted the activities of the investor. And then it was then given to various IMCs. So assuming NDC is in power, then the place is being run by NDC IMC. If it's NPP, it's NPP IMC. And since then, till Electrochem came, there was nothing like royalties, nothing like ground rents, and nothing like corporate social responsibility when government was managing it. That was the state of the Adan Songor Lagoon. And it has been the cry of every Adan. And you know government, when they take something, they are not able to manage it well. So they took the 41,000 acre concession and they were managing just a portion of it
Right.
So the rest of the concession was left, and then the indigenes, we also took over. Right. And then we were doing our own thing there.
Small scale,
small,
salt mining.
Exactly. Till such a time that we got the place destroyed. Total destruction of the entire Songor Lagoon. It became dried because we were doing achiakpo, what we call achiakpo. Instead of the communal ownership that we used to know, it became the property of a few.
Right.
A few of the indigenes, the rich men in quotes. So they hijacked the whole place. And before an Adan can even go in and mine, there were a lot of things happening. Especially when you are a woman, you have to mine before you are allowed to mine. Sometimes mother and daughter.
You have to what?
You have to mine before you are allowed to mine.
What do you mean?
Yes, mine. You have to mine somewhere else before you are able. You are given access to mine, as in proper mining.
I don't understand.
You have to understand.
I have to understand.
Yes.
Am I to understand? I mean, I could be wrong.
Okay.
So I don't want to be wrong.
Okay.
Are you saying that at some point women were taken advantage of just so they could get the opportunity to mine?
To mine, that is what I'm talking about. Sometimes mother and daughter.
Wow.
Yes, because it was men, mostly men that hijack it. Few of them, that is the rich people in the community. So that was the state of the Adan Songor Lagoon. And then it was an eyesore. And gradually the place kept going down until we now had a desert. We had a desert as a lagoon. Because when they mention lagoon, one thing that comes to mind is something that is supposed to be holding water or a water body. But the place actually turned into a lagoon, like a desert, prior to Electrochem's arrival. So if you ask of the history of the Adan Songor Lagoon, it was a communal thing. Everybody was benefiting from it until the Magis incident happened. Government came to take over, gave it to their various IMCs. It became the property of some few people. And then we eventually got the whole place rendered into a football park or a desert.
Nana, thank you very much for at least situating the conversation. Let me come to Nene. What can you add on that bit?
Yeah, thank you very much. My highest regards to JCHE. All citizens of Adan, this is an important time for us to speak to issues of Adan. Now, I would like to put it this way. The first attempt at commercialization of the Songor Basin, there was no attempt to provide space for the local indigenes. What we do...
In other words, there was no space for local content.
No. So what we did, and I did some, we go at night and steal virtually. You understand?
Steal?
Yes, virtually, because there was no space for us. The problem must be properly situated.
How long ago is this?
Oh, I was then like 22 years, so that's about 40 years or so ago.
Okay.
Now, the issue is this. The problem has been, it must be defined. And there has been various works on it. And we know that the indigenes must get some place, and then the commercial thing should also happen. But you see, I want to add something, you know. When you look at this paper that I have here, on it is Executive Summary Master Plan for Songor Salt Production.
What year is on that?
1991.
1991.
Yes. Now, on page 8, at the bottom here, I read just a paragraph.
Right.
For this type of production, the lagoon bed should get completely dry, or at least a greater part of it, in order to assure the winning of salt. Precisely here lies the contradiction with the salt production following modern technology. The salt winners' interests are in getting the lagoon dry at the middle of the season so as to start picking up the crystallized salt. Now, when the commercial people came, what they did was that they panned the whole Songor and had water from the sea into it. So that water, with the sunlight, the effect of the sunlight, heats, and then it charges. The salinity level rises, so that it becomes like a reservoir. Now, when they draw the water from the reservoir into the pans, it crystallizes very quickly, and then you have salt. Now, so the commercial people were protecting those pans, you know, where they had the water charging. And we also did not have the access. So we would go after it. And you can't go, there were policemen, they will chase you, they will arrest you. One day I was alone in the lagoon. When everybody had left me, as a boy who stayed in Accra for long and have returned. So I wasn't efficient. They left me, they were chased. I was alone in the lagoon. I came back and they asked me, what kind of person are you? That nobody saw you to chase you. Now that aside, it shows you that there's a history of the people looking for a place. Now, when this painting did this commercial episode, what happened was that after the killing of Maggie, the government took the thing over. Meanwhile, there had been a strong foundation of salt in that reservoir pans. So the people just went into it and they started digging. They started digging. And they dug everything out of it. So you have the bare land again. Now, there was no water coming from the sea into the lagoon. So how could you make your salt? You understand? Now, government did this in 1991. They came out with this report. They also passed the PNDC law to annex the thing. We needed huge sums of money, like $1 billion, to be injected into the place. The plan here is that Songor must be done in pans, big pans. And the actual Songor should be a holding of a place holding water. Reservoir. You understand? Then you do the pans at the shores. At the land about
the extremities of it, you probably have the center holding
the salt,
the water, and all of that.
Yes.
Then the surrounding areas are the places that
you draw water in and do your mine. That's where you are supposed to do your pans and do the mining. And that was what has been done by vacuum salt, which we carried on later. Now, fast forward, governments have not been able to put any investment in the thing. Now, what the people were doing is this. Now, the riverbed that is supposed to contain the water, they go in the bed because the water, when it's receding, that is when the water is very salty. So they create what we call achiapo. It is making a small embankment for yourself. So I go in, I make my space. You go in, you make your space. And before you do the space, you have to dig the clay, which is the surface content that makes Songor what it is. You have to dig it to contain the water. You see, you make an embankment, you hold the water. And then the water held, when it crystallizes, it becomes salt. So once they were digging the clay content, they were spoiling the content of the lagoon, which is the clay.
Right.
Now, again, when they have done their first salts, they go on and then dig wells because they don't have any source of water. So they dig wells. And now you have all kinds of
minerals,
bodies, clay, silt, everything.
Coming up.
You put it on the bed because when you are digging, you dig and put it on the bed. And then you do your salt. When it rains, this
washes back.
It washes back. And so the texture of the soil that makes it Songor was losing. In fact, one of the works, this Third World Network had somebody to do. He referred to that as an invasion of the Songor Lagoon. So it was on the basis of this that reports kept coming to the paramount chief and the traditional council that we have to do something about it. Because once the soil content or the clay content is spoiled, Songor is finished. And we are talking about something that can give us about 7 million metric tons at the time that we are doing less than 500,000 metric tons. And the resource is wasting. And the people are getting poorer.
And this is a resource that has been there for centuries. But let's also look at it from this angle.
Yes.
The Adan Songor Lagoon Association has created a certain picture that Electrochem's work is not exactly in the interest of the people of Adan.
Yes.
Is that true or false?
It's not true. Now, I'll tell you what the traditional council has done. We sat and discussed it, and we knew that the participation of the locals is critical to the success. So we said, how are we going to do this? Then we came up with an idea that they should do what we call community pans. These are big, big pans for the community. If you want to know the size, after this, you can ask your reporters to go to...
I mean, we've been there.
Okay, so you know what it is. Now, this can give you salt multiple times in a year. Now, Electrochem is supposed to do these community pans for the communities as and when they get into an area. So they are in the area that they are in, the communities there, Pohiom, Nakonkope, Agbedrafo, Bonikope, Toflopo, they started. Bonikope resisted. Toflopo resisted. At a time, Toflopo did not even believe that he could do such a size for them. So they wrote a letter to the council asking questions whether those things were for them. You understand? Now, because of the resistance, they've not been able to finish their community plans, Bonikope and Toflopo. As we speak now, the last attempt was to finish their community plans, and the resistance led to the death, unfortunate death.
And we know on November the 6th, I mean,
yes,
20 years back, we had that 47-year-old Kolete woman who died during a clash between Toflopo and Electrochem staff.
Yes, he's from my clan, Kobo, and it's so sad that we should lose somebody like that. But the issue is this. When we started and gave them the community plans, you know, the thing is evolving. We are for the people, but we have also invited an investor, and we have to do a balancing between the two. So the people said, oh, the community plans are good, but they are not enough. Give us some more space, because the community plans being so good can still not feed everybody, and not everybody can work with Electrochem. So give us additional participation. Before then, a media guy that has gone on retirement, if I mention the name you know, is very popular, once called me and said, Electrochem should have done some, this model of, what do you call it? Where you have people produce for you and you buy. What do you call it? Outgrower model. Yeah. So he told me, well, I added it to what was in my mind. So we started negotiating on how we can expand the participation. Because at the end of the day, the people must agree to Electrochem, and Electrochem must have peace to do the work. And they have made huge, humongous sums of money as an investment in the area. So we started negotiating. The Tema Regional Command started organizing these things for us. Now, at the last meeting that we went, they said, give us a space, give us water. That's the brine. You know, brine is very critical. Right. Yes. So give us brine, give us the space, and give us an amount so that we can produce and sell. Then I said, oh, this is good. But let's make sure that we clear all other issues. The consensus that we left from the place was that they should go and bring a document, a formal application to that effect, so that we'll sit down and find out how we can appease, we can satisfy our people. We left that place thinking that the letter was coming, only for us to hear that they were demonstrating in Accra, insulting the paramount chief, insulting all of us. And sometimes it's so disgusting.
But if there's that friction, if there's that back and forth, especially between the citizens of Adan or the local people of Adan and the other sides, you, the traditional. So if I had to ask you to clarify, are you saying that the position of the traditional authority is that Electrochem's work is good and that it should stay?
Very good.
Okay, so you subscribe to that?
No, but let me explain, because you have to
very
understand.
Quickly, I want to come to...
Well, you must understand the thing. Now, we need water in the lagoon. We always say it's 41,000 square meters, But let me tell you, 2/3 of the surface is covered by the lagoon. And that must be a reservoir. So you have only 1/3. And within the 1/3 of the 41,000 are the communities, which have grown in size over the years. Now, Electrochem wanted to do one thing: survey the place, find out the available land out of the 41,000. And then it is on the basis of that that we can negotiate and find out how much of it makes economic sense and social, sense to give to our people. They resisted it.
All right. So we'll get further into that resistance. Nana, so from where you sit, you're also part of the traditional, leadership in Adan. Electrochem coming into this,
Okay.
how beneficial has it been? Do you subscribe to Nene's position, and what would you say has been the impact of Electrochem since it came on board? Just to paint a picture for us.
Okay, thank you very much. I 100% agree with what my man Kalalo has just said. We all agree to Electrochem coming to Adan, and a company that has been in operation for barely 3 years, and the impact that the community have gotten is not an easy thing. One, the first thing
about that impact.
Yeah, the first impact, or the first thing the people of Adan are happy about Electrochem's coming, is the restoration of the Songor Lagoon. Because we lost it. It became like any other Galamsey site that, like you can say, the water bodies have changed color, has become tea and Milo and other things. We even left that stage of our water body getting dried like a desert. So if a company is there and then within its first year of operation has been able to restore that lagoon, that has become a source of livelihood, not only for production of the salt, but as we speak now, we have about more than 400 people going into the restored lagoon to fish. So it has created another source of livelihood for the people of Adan. That is the impact number one. The impact number two is a company has given the women within the Adan community 3 million interest-free loan. Let's all look at from 2019.
So 3 million Ghana cedis.
3 million Ghana cedis interest-free loan.
About how many women are we looking at?
Let's say about 1,000 plus women have benefited from the loan scheme, because it's something you take, you pay, and then you bring it without any interest. So what has that done?
And that was facilitated by Electrochem?
Yes, Electrochem gave out that money to the women entrepreneurs in Adan. So it has saved the women, our local women or the local entrepreneurs, from this going to the susu people with outrageous interest that ends up collapsing their businesses. So our market women, our mothers are also out there. Those that don't even have anything to do with the Songor Lagoon, they are also getting something to do in their tomatoes, their pepper, and their fish businesses. Come to think of education, people are getting scholarships. Come look at the community pan concept. There is a community called Ajimani Kopi, where Mankalalo is coming from. The proceeds of the community pan.
Near where I come from.
Okay, near where Mankalalo is coming from.
I'm
the
from
proceeds.
And Bonikopi, let me mention.
Okay, so it's Agbedrafo. I want to talk about.
Bonikopi, yes.
Okay, so Agbedrafo community, Agbedrafo community, the Agbedrafo people, out of the proceeds from the community pan last season, they are now building an ICT center.
I see.
Yes, a school that was left unroofed for 7 good years. They have roofed it from the benefits of the community.
You know what's
plan.
interesting, because this was going to be an aside at the tail end of the conversation.
Yeah.
I know a bit of that area, and I was going
Okay.
to ask you about, for example, if you look at some of the senior high schools in that community,
Yeah.
junior high schools, some of them are not a good picture to write
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
So you're saying that this has impacted positively
in
education as
yes, yes. Even currently, but for Electrochem, the Adan Secondary School would have been closed down for lack of water.
Sometime.
For some time now, they don't have water supply. It's Electrochem that is today supplying the school with water. The
So
school has been
basically what
closed
you're
down.
saying then is that looking at the benefits,
Yeah.
weighing the benefits against whatever other issues may
Yes,
come,
yes.
it is better with Electrochem.
It is better, it is far
But let
better.
me pin you to this.
Okay.
The ASLA, the Adan Songor Lagoon Association,
Yeah.
in any instance, you would want to be sure that as many people as possible, if not everyone, is benefiting from it.
Yes, yes.
Now, if you have these youth who are banded together, quite a number of them, who also are resisting this forcefully, then you have to ask yourself, are some people getting left out? And no matter how small, their livelihood, if that is where they get their livelihood, and they've been,
Deprived.
pushed aside or deprived,
Yes.
that is a problem, isn't it?
Yes, I would answer that. I love these questions for people to know what the real issues are. I told you that the real problem is the indigents getting someplace. Recently, the MP in Parliament, he said, if maybe a quarter, that means a quarter of the landed area. You understand? Okay, so if you take the lagoon out, a quarter of the landed area. Now, the issue is this. The thing about it is that somebody who's asking for land for the locals to do salt for themselves is also saying we want more operators. Now, this is your table, this is the land. If you take one operator, there is a landed area that he needs for commercial feasibility. You know that. Now, if you have more people coming to operate, what would be the space left for the indigents? The Ada Traditional Council met and decided that no, let's take one operator so that we can negotiate more space for our people. What it means is that once we negotiate with him, whatever is left, our people will take it. In the past, they were not having water. Now, part of the negotiation, they will have free water. And do you know what? Electro came when we started talking, tried to do it and see how it will work. Last year, upon our instigation, he gave them water for 4 months, November to March. He told them February, but he ended stopping them in March. Now, that's 4 months. Go and ask the locals the impact of that 4 months work. What it means is that some of them did 8 winnings, so 2 a month. Some of them did 8 winnings. Go and do your research there and find out those who did it, how much did they get, and all of that. So this is what we want for our people. We as chiefs are there for the people. In fact, what makes us important is the people behind us. But when you have such a situation where people are saying, we want more operators. Is it more operator you want or the land that you want? And that is the area that I'm coming to. There are political infiltrators who are making sure that their work does not succeed. I'll tell you something that happened. I had to sit in for my paramount chief at one meeting where we called both NDC and MPP to that meeting. And I sat in. Some were blaming me. You are allowing them to... I said, no, I do what I want. I want to get to the bottom of this issue. Now, one person from the NDC side woke up and said, if those MPP people were telling the electorate that they have done better for them and that they should vote for them, what should they also tell them? So immediately they said, oh, they are coming to take your communities away. And this created a whole lot of... It is a fire that has...
So is this issue, like Nana started talking about, is this place that we find ourselves, is it also a political problem?
There is a political element. You see, we went to Regional Coordinating Council the last time and I spoke. And they were happy. Ask them why were they happy with me? It's because I'm saying the truth. What they want is space for themselves. And we will pursue that to the utmost. Once they get it, we are happy. But then when you hear things like, bring another investor, there are people hiding behind them, and our people, being so ignorant and innocent, they push them. And then they say things which are not. If you want space, ask for space. Like the MP said, is there a quarter that should be given to them? We sit with Electrochem. These are your people. In any case, Electrochem wants salt. What he wants is salt and quality. So if the indigents are given a place and they can do their pans right to international standards and produce the salt, he's ready to pick them. And that's ready market for them. So what better situation do we want? What we need to do is to talk.
I'll come back to you on that. I'll come back to you on that point. Nana, in the past, like you rightly mentioned, and I'm feeding on what you've said, that others came, other investors came, and some of the same bickering within the communities ended up breaking up the entire cycle, and then it reverted to maybe what you wouldn't have wanted. Has that changed? And if it has, what do you think Electrochem is doing by it?
Okay, I think that has changed, and that is why, in spite of all the noise and everything, the business is still going on, the community, we are taking our benefits. Because when Electrochem came, they came with engagements. Engagements and engagements. The investor, I can say, started engagements 3 years more. 3 years before he even moved to Adan. And the engagement was from the grassroots. They first went to the Alodia owners. The lagoon and its adjoining land belongs to certain clans. Right. So Electrochem started with them and then moved to the paramount chief and then to the traditional council and then to the various communities. So everybody has been engaged. And as at the time the engagement was going on, this small group of people calling themselves ASLA were not in existence.
These are young, vibrant energies in that community that also claim their livelihoods are being taken right out.
Exactly. They were not part. We didn't know anything like ASLA in Adan. The only group we knew was DESPA. And currently, as we speak now, DESPA has been allocated a place by the company because they were the group that were doing this thing that the traditional council recognized. So when they came, DESPA was taken as a community on its own. Though the members of DESPA are coming from one of these project-affected communities who would have equally benefited from the community plans. But they have been given a place for themselves called the DESPA area. So ASLA just emerged out of the blue. Fine, you are still...
So let's put it this way. Okay. ASLA emerged. Sometimes momentous events bring about these groupings.
Exactly.
And when people feel aggrieved, these things happen. Okay. Have you engaged ASLA?
ASLA has refused to be engaged.
We have engaged them. We went to Tema.
Yeah.
We went to Tema 3 times.
Yeah.
You see, I'm passionate about this. We went to Tema 3 times. If you ask the commander, he will tell you. You see, and the minutes are all there.
Is it Tema? Is it
the Tema Regional Command? You know, because of the mistrust, there needed to be somebody.
So an arbiter.
So they came in. Because when there are issues, they report to them. So it's okay, come, sit down, let's talk. You see, I want us to go behind ASLA. ASLA, they are our own community people. The issue is that those behind the veil, they must be our target.
When you say those behind the veil, are you saying those behind ASLA? Is that what you're saying?
No, there are people who are pushing. Like, don't give it to one person. And ours is not to create a monopoly. Ours is to get space for our people. So whatever arrangement can give space for our people to get their livelihoods, the traditional council is okay with it. You understand? So there are people behind that are pushing, some of them, that say this. The thing is too much to be given to one individual. This is, but what do you want? What arrangements or what guarantees do you want with this arrangement so that you are comfortable? You want a quarter? You want a third? Under what conditions? Let's talk. But you come and you ask for, and then we say, come and bring it. The next moment, you, the same person who came with the idea, went on the street insulting us. Is that fair? Forget about the insult. It doesn't mean anything. At the end of the day, if we achieve our aim, the insult is not written on our bodies. But the issue is that those behind the veil who are pushing, if our people understand, for instance, from the 4 months they were given last year, how much money they make and what they are losing on account of not sitting down to negotiate, then it's better for them to sit down so that we can negotiate more space for them. You understand? Just as they brought, they should come back to the negotiating table.
That is ASLA.
Whatever, whoever.
Whichever other groups.
Whichever other group. There are people, we don't hate them.
So you're stating here categorically that ASLA's views do not represent the views of...
No.
Hold on. First of all, the Adan traditional rulership or leadership and of the people, right? Of the people of Adan. Is that what you're saying?
So first of all, what is our mission? We are there to seek the interest of our people. That transcends everything. You understand? But we have to marry this with commercial sense or economic sense. So we said, Okay, that is why we are saying no 2 operators, no 3 operators, 1 operator. Now, how do we satisfy our people? More space for them. Like the MP said, is it a quarter? Is it a third? It's a matter of negotiation. Because if I sit down and I tell you that, okay, this is what I'm going to do, this is the commercial price and everything, and it's okay for you, you would accept it.
Okay, so in about a minute, I'll ask for your views on the way forward, how we can make this even more beneficial for the people of Adan and all the major stakeholders, including the last person in there who also has a right as a member of the community, that child whose family, whatever, so that they can also benefit. But in recent times, you've accused the Member of Parliament of meddling, misrepresentation, and all of that. Tell us a bit about that.
You know,
very briefly.
Personally, I look at what things will promote.
Yes, but let's get into it.
But because I represent people, I can speak to it. But left to me alone, this is nothing. You see, the expectation of our people is that as an MP, you represent the community, so you should have come to us to say that, oh, this is what I've heard, this is what I'm going to do. You understand? So that you take our input or, you know. But if you went without telling us anything, you have never come to sit down with us to discuss anything, and you do that, then you are not fairly representing us, which makes sense, which is true. I wish she did not do that. But for me, it's a trivial issue.
What exactly did she say?
No, the fact that she did not consult with us before making statements. That is what we are talking about. That's what traditional authority is talking about. Okay? That's what traditional authority is talking about. But for me, you ask for the way forward. All right? Or it's not time for that?
You can go into it now.
You ask for the way forward.
Right.
The way forward
is Electrochem
is
way forward?
To delink those agitators who are behind the veil, the politicians who are pushing. Don't do it. Hit it. Create confusion so that when we come, we'll review it. These are the real enemies of Adan. Not us, the chiefs, not the Adan, not us, the chiefs. Look, my uncle is in Bonikopi. The chief that was suspended is my uncle, direct uncle.
Right.
You understand? And I have a lot of, I stayed there, I grew there. That's my mother's side. I grew there and have more people even than my father's side. I grew up before my father's side people, you know, because, you know.
So I get the point. The way forward.
So the way forward is that those behind the veil, they must be pushed up. And those are people who are being influenced. They must come and reason up. Now, let's all come to the negotiation table. My expectation is that the parliamentary committee will do a good work. The regional administration and the national security will do a good work. After all of that, my expectation is that we will sit down and talk. If they have problems, you see, in the Bible it is said, come, let's reason together. Is that not it?
It is.
Now, so if they have issues, they should come. Let's reason together. What is it that we must pursue for them?
Right.
So that they get and they're happy. They should come and get it, let their joys be filled, like Joy FM. Thank you.
Well, that's an interesting one. Your final words, something that just hit me though, you don't have to react to it, but I'm wondering, now that the issue is also political, if there's another switch, and that has happened over this fourth Republican experience, I'm just wondering what then happens from there, because like you've mentioned, every time there's a switch, who knows? But
hope for the better. Don't think that something negative.
No one is hoping. But
I mean,
I'm just
whether
curious.
A comes or B comes, hope for the better.
All right.
And we have to be speaking. We have to be talking. We have to be saying the issues as they are. Let every hear.
Okay.
You understand? Let every hear, and let people see what is good for Ghana.
Thank you, Nene. You have the final word, Nana.
Okay.
What is the way forward?
The way forward, I think, is Electrochem. The way forward is Adan with Electrochem. Yeah. Because if for just 3 years now, the transformation that has come to Adan within 3 years, I don't think the other mining communities have even gotten this. If you check the records, per the impact that has been made within 3 years. You are journalists, you can go out to the communities and assess and compare what the people of Adan have gotten, and then what the other communities that they are mining in have gotten within so many years of operation. The other thing is that now Adan is of age to develop. And we are not going to sit down as leaders to allow just a few people. They are our people, we are for them. But we will not take in the name of livelihood, and destroy our resources. In the name of livelihood, we destroyed the lagoon. It was a desert. In the name of livelihood, we were not getting royalties, ground rents, and anything. But this company is here, we are getting our royalties, we are getting ground rent. There are other livelihoods that has been created around this project. So I think the way forward for the people of Ada is unity and then development with Electroken, because Electroken can help us. The only thing we have as Adans is the Songor Lagoon, and now it's being developed for sustainability. The community ponds is there to sustain. You can do your local salt mining, you can make money and still preserve that place. That place is a Ramsar site.
Right.
So it can't be left to destroy in the name of livelihood.
Right.
Because we have lost it in the name of livelihood and now it's restored. So we have to preserve it in unity, in understanding. And then the politicians, we beg them for 40 years. I'm not giving credit to any party for this, the revamping of the Adan Songor Lagoon. Right. Neither NDC nor MPP, because they have all been in power for these 40 years. If you look at it, right. MPP has been in power. NDC has also been in power. So I'm not giving any political credit to any of them. If I have to give credit to any person, right. I'll give it to His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo as a person. Okay. Because NPP has been there under a leadership, NDC has also been there. Right. So if a credit should go to somebody, then it is the president. So we all have to come together and let this one work for the people of Ghana. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Those who joined us for this conversation, Nene Agude Obichwe III, Adan State Mankralo, and Nana Adiki Manyayo Adi, the first Queen Royal Edibiawe Adan traditional area. I guess that is how the cookie crumbles, and that's how we end this conversation. But still to come after the break, we begin our series titled End of Year Conversations. We'll be talking to some people we've hosted in the course of this year. And today, we begin with an organization seeking to build Africa's first ultra-modern hospital to treat childhood cancers. More on that after the break.